How about those?
Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to the Four Guys in a Bar podcast, presented by Chiefs Blitz and sponsored by Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. If you're looking for a real estate expert, call Eric Haynes today at 816-729-3785. That's 816-729-3785. Now here is your Chiefs Blitz host, Nick Athan, with Lou Montagna, Andre Tillman, and Hense Todd.
Welcome back to the next edition of Four Guys in a Bar, presented by Chiefs Blitz and ChiefsBlitz.com. I am your host, Nick Athan. You can reach me at Chiefs Insider, pretty much everywhere on Twitter, also at Chiefs Blitz. I'm joined today by my good friend, my compadre, my partner, Mr. Hense Todd with Bowtie Sports. You got the clean look today, man. Look at that. Just very basic today. Oh, can't hear you.
Very basic today.
That's all right. It's all good.
My daughter gave me Tweeterberg pink shirt. So
no, you can't beat that. Can't beat that. All right. Before we bring in the members of the team, first I want to talk about my good friend and our corporate sponsor, Mr. Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. He is your trusted real estate advisor. He is my trusted real estate advisor. He's one of the best. If you're looking for someone who's going to help you walk you through the process of trying to buy a house in the crazy world with high interest rates and a lot of people buying properties, people still looking for good deals. Maybe you found a house you didn't think you could get, but Eric's kind of one of those guys who can, help you find a way to get it done. And that's what he did for us and my family. So if you're looking for someone that's going to take care of you, give Eric a call at 816-729-3785 or email esaleskc@gmail.com. He is a one-of-a-kind guy. He's one of my best friends, and he will personally take great care of you in your needs to either sell a house or to buy a house. Again, Eric Haynes, 816-729-3785.
Proud sponsor of Chief Who?
The greatest game on the internet.
That's right.
Chiefs Who. And we are joined by Mr. Lou Montagna, the other senior member of the team. Coach has got something else going on today, so it's just going to be the three of us today. So, guys, obviously the weekend is past us. Chiefs visited the White House. Big slick Saturday night. OTAs, the last OTA session happens tomorrow, Tuesday through Thursday before the mandatory minicamp the following week. And then the guys check out until the third week of July as they get ready for the home opener 95 days away against the Baltimore Ravens. And yes. So, guys, first and foremost, everybody have a good weekend. Do anything fun and exciting?
I got the fence finally got it done. So you know what? I'm gonna give myself a little.
It's party time.
Hey, I finally got it done, guys. I finally got it done.
So is there a clip or a picture?
The video is coming soon.
All right, cool.
And the wife
Swinging the sledgehammer.
Yep.
Got the little hole digger.
Yeah,
love it.
And shout out to she was just pushing to get it done.
Yeah,
push.
Yeah, we did the backyard landscaping stuff, so that was a 2-day process.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got to be done.
Got to be done. The wife says,
got to be done. For all those who want marital advice, happy wife, happy life.
Go ahead. What about you, Lou?
It's a beautiful weekend in northwestern Pennsylvania, boys. Even though there was sporadic sunshine, got out in nature, took a few nice walks, hung out with some of the boys. So it was good. Life's good.
Wait, you got other boys besides us? What?
Yeah, I do.
I guess the local crew, huh?
Yeah, I like to keep an open relationship.
There you go.
We're not exclusive.
I see how we are, Mr. Non-committal. All good.
Play in the field, man.
Speaking of relationships, it was something that was a spotted that we also covered on Bowtie Sports too. As a Rasheed Rice, hey, he, like Nick said, he got spotted. The pictures he took with Clark Hunt and Andy Reid. That tells you all about their relationship. What you guys say about that, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the pictures were. Listen, I've seen these guys take a lot of pictures, and there's pictures they take to take pictures, and there's other ones where they generally seem to be in a good spirit. So for all those Rashee Rice bashers and all those guys and women who want him off the team and all these crazy things that have been said, at the end of the day, he still has not been gone to court. We still don't know all the facts. It's likely he's going to be suspended, but at the end of the day, it appears that he's got his act turned around. And it also appears that Clark Hunt and Andy Reid plan on keeping him on the roster for the near future. There he is at the White House and is sporting his red tie with Clark Hunt and then Andy Reid on the right. And to me, that was pretty telling. That kind of told me that, setting everything aside, they're giving this kid another chance to prove himself. And I think to their satisfaction, and a big shout out to Hollywood Brown for kind of taking him under his wing as well. But I think between him, Patrick, and Travis, they've kind of got this kid squared up. He donated some food the other day. Yeah, it was a PR thing, and we're trying to make him look good. But at the end of the day, there are a lot of things he could have done differently. And he seems to be genuine in his willingness and his process here to regain the good graces. He will be suspended. It may not be this year. If he does not go to court between now and the end of December and is pushed off to next year, his suspension will not be active until 2025. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah, this reminds me of me at about 12 years old. My mom saying, okay, you're going to get dressed up. You're going to stand with your grandfather. You're going to stand with your dad. You're going to smile and you're going to like it. Okay. So my guess is that, the conversations were had between coach and player, and it's probably happened before, and owner specifically, and said, listen, kid, we know you screwed up. These are the ways back. These are the steps that you have to take. And you're part of this team. We're not going to isolate you. We're not going to kick you out. But hey, you got to get on the straight and narrow, and now's the time. So let's do it. No
time like the present. What about you, Hense?
The kid is, turning around like the stuff that came out. I was just like shocked, about it at first. But like you said, if the court cases ain't been brought up, everybody think he's going to be suspended, but hey, I'm happy for the kid. I like to see that it looked like it's turning around for him. It looked like Clark Hunt and his family took him up under his wing. Andy Reid, Hollywood Brown, Patrick Mahomes, all these guys deserve credit. We just want to see when it's all said and done. Like I covered on Bold Top Sports, like I said, of Saturday. Hey, if I come to help you, you talking about you got a flat tire, then yes, and I see you just that you turn around, I help you get the tire fixed, then I see you go running back into a pile of nails and flatten them again. I don't want to see that. I want to see the kid come out here. He turns it around. He don't reverse it. He just go forward from here.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we all know what he did. The situation in the bar was thrown out. There was nothing there. It was a nothing burger. But again, it's a serious thing what he did, but it seems like he's making amends. And listen, the Chiefs need him to be successful. For those of us that consistently rewatch, because there's nothing better on TV, the Super Bowl over and over again. And as I said a few weeks ago, you watch just the things that Rice did away from the football. That was impressive enough for a guy to make that leap and make that jump from when he was kind of struggling early in the season to be that integrated in the offense when he wasn't even the focal point at times. So, if all the weapons are working, this Chiefs team's going to be undeniably going to be very difficult to beat on any given Sunday this year if they have a full complement of wide receivers, tight ends, and Patrick Mahomes has the time to do his magic. So, hey, Rice is key, big key to that. And I'm glad they're giving him the opportunity, and I hope he's making the best of it. And it sounds like he is.
Yeah, the wide receiver group looks like it can be like extremely deep and really, really good, or it could turn out like last year and we're like looking around like, what the hell? Where do we turn to? Do we have to bring McCole back? Jesus, come on.
Right.
Speaking of watching things, I don't know if it was Friday, Saturday, NFL Network, and just a random rerun of a 1990 game near the end of the season at the Murph in San Diego.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
Did you see
I watched it too, yeah.
Freddie Krueger, Steve DeBerg had that pinky all wrapped up. I still have no idea how he played with that.
I don't either.
But then when I was watching it again, it kind of reminded me where it was like almost like Creed and Trey, because you had Dave Zott and Tim Grunhard as rookies. And it was like the makings of, again, another one of those powerhouse Chiefs offensive lines. So just watched that for a little bit. Thought I'd mention it. Seeing Stephon Page always brings a smile to my face. So yeah, that was cool. Christian Okoye didn't play in the game, so Barry Word was the dominant runner. But yeah, that was pretty cool to watch again.
Yeah. They do a lot. They had the Chargers
33 years later.
Yeah, they had the Drew Brees' first game in the NFL was against the Chiefs, I think, and they played that, and he come back and won it in the last couple of seconds of the game. But yeah, I love those old clips, man.
Yeah,
it's just a different era. It's so much fun to watch, and now and then you look at where we are now. We're in the midst of
the shoulder pads were so much bigger.
Christian Okoye looked 10 times bigger than a normal running back would this year. I mean, those pads he had were like a foot high. Oh man, it was fun.
I think there it is. Like you were starting to say, now we like casually talk about a fourth Super Bowl or a third Super Bowl.
Yeah, very casually, they had a chance to three-peat.
Once they win the fourth one, so
yeah, absolutely.
But
immortality, that's the word of the day. Hense.
Immortality, whatever it is.
We'll see what they're going to do to get there, because it's a lot to go through. But as we said, right, the Chiefs wide receiver room, we thought that was going to be great last year. Then it looked like it just went to be one of the worst. But again, they still won the Super Bowls. But but like speaking of wide receivers, like the Chiefs is not paying high paid wide receivers like Justin Jefferson. It broke the bank. He broke the bank by getting this money. 35 million, 140 something million guaranteed, I think. But again, the kid deserved it, but
no.
As you can see, you don't see
it was about 100 million guaranteed, 140 million. They didn't, there's no funny money in this deal. So I mean, those are real numbers. And I think when we talked about it, and I think everybody around the league realized where this was going, where he was going to be above Bosa's contract, and he made just a little bit more. And I think Jamar Chase will probably get just a little bit more.
Not in Cincinnati.
Just a little bit more than that. Well, that's the price of doing business now if you want to keep these guys. And as I look at it, I think you guys had mentioned, I think Nick Jacobs last week, and we've mentioned him before, and he does great work. And he had a post in terms of seeing like where this goes, like where's the capper on this. And the more I think of it and looking at it, we talked about perhaps like quarterbacks taking about 20% of the salary cap, the guys that are at the top of the list, and actually going a little bit above that. It looks like the wide receivers might be falling in around 15% of that. So as the cap goes up, these numbers are going to go up for the wide receivers. And then it depends on your team, what the construct of your team wants to be, or where you see your team going, and how some teams, i.e. the Chiefs, decide that we're not going that route. We don't see that $35 or $40 million to a wide receiver equating into extra wins or playoff wins or whatever. So I think, again, as long as Travis is the top paid offensive weapon outside of Patrick, you're not going to see any of these receivers get paid. Interesting to see what happens with Hollywood next year. That's going to be a whole other ball game, depending on how he plays. But I think once Travis retires, then perhaps if Rashee Rice continues his ascension, then maybe he gets close to that money. But it's just going to keep going up. As long as the cap keeps going up, I'm looking at around a 15% mark for most teams for the top, 5 or 10 wide receivers.
What? Do you see anybody else in the NFL that's going to break that number, wide receiver wise?
I just said Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase is going to try with another team,
and CeeDee Lamb's right behind him. And actually, CeeDee Lamb is in line for his extension even before that. So it depends on what the teams want. The players certainly, based on the market, that's what they're looking for, and that's what they should look for.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, absolutely.
We'll see. We'll see if I don't think like everybody else besides the older guys like Tyreek Hill, maybe, but the up and coming guys, Jamar Chase, he ain't put up numbers as Jefferson did.
Yeah,
T. Higgins, no,
pretty close,
pretty close, but it ain't no pretty close to that penny. I'm not paying you pretty close. I ain't gonna pay you big money for pretty close. I'm not doing that. But CeeDee Lamb probably to be the one that maybe. Yards by yards, they look like they had the same type of number, same type of career. If you remove the face and name and they just throw numbers up in front of your face, you probably look at CeeDee Lamb and you be like, oh, that's, Justin Jefferson, or this is, they have the same type of numbers. But again, the kid deserve it, but I don't like
deserves it. He got it.
He got it, but I don't see the Chiefs. Maybe in the future, where they don't have Patrick Mahomes or Kelsey, they probably have to play a big star like that. But
put the graphic back up, and I'm gonna kind of answer what Lou said. There's only one player on there that is a game changer in the postseason, and that's Chris Jones. Mm-hmm. He's worth $31.8 million. Just look what he did in back-to-back games against the Bills, and what he did against the 49ers. He changed the outcome of the game. Chris Jones made potential losses into wins. I don't see that with Hill. I don't see that with St. Brown. I don't see it with Brown or Bosa or Justin Jefferson. I mean, they're paying Justin Jefferson $35 million. Hey, listen, rock on to Drew Rosenhaus. He's the best wide receiver agent ever of all time, and he's getting his guys paid. And now Tyreek wants a bigger deal. He's going to want to be over the $35 million.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, are these guys going to win me a Super Bowl game? Are they going to win me a playoff game? And for Justin Jefferson, who the heck is going to throw him the football? For Tyreek Hill, he still has Tua. Bosa's a defensive player, but in big games, we haven't seen him have an Aaron Donaldson moment where we've seen that in Chris Jones. And that's what you equate to. That's why the Chiefs are so successful right now, because they have a formula, which is draft young, keep them for 3 or 4 years, sign the most guys that you can for the high dollar, move money around. And right now the Chiefs have a ton of cap space available to where they can do almost anything if they feel there's a shortcoming on the roster. So, and there's some good football players who are still free agents, but to me, the only guy above that 30 million stage that deserves the money and makes the impact is Chris Jones. I just don't see it anywhere else.
Well, I guess we can get it like in a 100 or 30,000 foot view and just say, okay, this is a capitalistic society. This is a capitalistic business. Somebody's getting paid. I mean, it's and these are the guys that are viewed as being worth that kind of money. So they're going to get it. They're going to. I mean, how do you quantify, deserve versus it's whatever the market will be,
whatever one team's willing to pay. And
exactly.
The Vikings were desperate.
And I'm guessing that there would have been a handful of teams, if not a bigger 2 handfuls of teams looking to pay Justin Jefferson at this point. So they brought him back. They, I think, are in a better position than, say, a team like the Bengals, because they don't have a franchise quarterback in terms of a huge dollar amount looking at them at the quarterback position. So they're in a good space. Whereas some of these other teams, like we said, Cincinnati, that's a tough one because you got 2 receivers. What are you going to do? You know, T. Higgins, what are you going to do with Chase? You've got Burrow that you already paid. These are Burrow's guys. I'm sure he wants to keep them. You know, Miami's sitting there. I'm sure Tyreek is looking at this like that $30 million. That's BS for Tyreek. He has, I think, 45 due in the last year of his contract. So that's kind of inflated the overall number. So I think he's only getting like 25 per year. Yeah. So that's going to be renegotiated, but they're sitting there having to make a decision on Tua now. So
Don't
again,
do it.
All these decisions affect and impact the other. So I'm never going to say a player's not deserving of a particular contract. Hey, if somebody's willing to pay it, you take it. and you keep playing. So I believe that Jefferson is the best. I think Chase is right there with him. So again, I'm putting that number at 15% of the salary cap, whatever that works out to be in terms of kind of a ceiling right now, and that would put it at about 38 million, maybe, or 39. Right. So we'll see. Somebody will get there. And it'll be sooner than later.
I think it's just what we're talking about, like when Juju Smith-Schuster was a free agent, the top dollar wide receiver was getting $10 million a year. And now it's gone to 30 again.
Well, more than that.
But I'm just the average. 2 years ago
it has doubled. The top end receiver has doubled in the last 10 years.
Yeah, it's crazy because it was like when Adams went to the Raiders. And Tyreek got his deal. We were at this level, and then the market crashed. And owners said, "No, we're not doing this anymore." So they kind of put.
I don't know that they said that. I don't think there was really anybody in that upper echelon that was up.
Either way, because they still controlled the cost.
As soon as they came up, they all got paid.
Yeah, but I think Detroit kind of started the process, and the Eagles, and just kind of snowballed from there. And you mentioned Hollywood Brown. I'm still of the opinion that if they offered this guy $23 to $24 million on average, he would sign an extension.
Oh my God, in a heartbeat. Yeah. I don't know that I don't think they're going to offer him that though. Again, it's not being greedy or anything like that. It's just looking at the way they're building this team. That's really not part of the equation right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you look at this list and see the guys that's on there as these wide receivers, and you get to wondering, and you think you paying Tyreek Hill $30 million, AJ Brown $32 million, Justin Jefferson $35. Did L'Jarius Sneed not get paid enough? Because did he not shut off them down last season? It felt like
all those guys.
He should be getting the money. Like, come on, man.
Well, he's being paid near or at the top of the cornerback market.
Well, he should be paid the top because he shut all of them down. Most Chase.
Yeah. Well, but again, we can talk about what's fair and whatever, but right now that's just what the market is. So yeah, I guess. If you value corner that much higher.
Yeah, it just depends what each team values. Again, if teams are going to copy, that's the thing. The NFL teams are not copying what the Chiefs are doing. Mm-hmm. They're still trying to do it their own way, and they're paying
to build with what you have.
Exactly, too. But you also have to be aggressive. Now, Patrick Mahomes is a once in a generational player.
That's the other part of the equation that no one can match. So
you can't match that.
They got to try to make up for it in other places.
Yeah, and the way the Chiefs have structured his contract, Kareem made an interesting comment here. They paid Joe $19 million, $29 million, and then it's $46 million plus
because it's an extension, right?
In 2025. In 2025, so. That's when the real money kicks in. That's why I don't think, obviously, they're going to sign, both their wide receivers. I'd be shocked if they sign one of them at this point. But and Waddle just got a new deal, which was about $75 million guaranteed. And I just think it's stupid money. I just don't see the value in it. But I know why the Vikings did it. He's their premier player. They lost Kirk Cousins. They're going to have a young quarterback. He's going to have to carry the load. They've got some other nice complementary pieces, but to pay him $35 million a year with an unknown at quarterback, I just think you could have spread that $35 million out in other areas of the football team and paid 3 or 4 or 5 guys, the kind of money they would need to be, true glue guys. But I get why they did it.
Well, you still got to sell tickets.
I know.
You still want your fan base engaged, and that would be a tough one to take if that your best player and you're like, nah. It's a difficult position to be in. But if you draft a guy, develop him, you'd like to keep him. Sure. Now, in some cases, you can't. And again, it depends on the construct of your team. If there was some other guys that were up for extensions, and to your point, Nick, that they could spread it around, maybe they would have done that. But hey, this is our superstar. Yeah. We want to keep him. We want to keep fans engaged. We want to keep fans in the seats and stay relevant. You got to do it.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out. I mean, of that list, Calvin Johnson, to me, he was the best, and that's the guy you paid. And I don't know, he retired early because he wanted to save his body and his mind, and kudos to him. But if you can,
but Justin Jefferson had a way to, negotiate that because he was like, who else y'all gonna throw the ball to? You got. You got your quarterback, but y'all didn't keep Kirk Cousins. He wanted Kirk Cousins, so he like, hey, the money y'all weren't gonna give Kirk Cousins, y'all need to give it to me.
Give it to me. And clearly he wanted to stay, but only at a certain price. And there was talk that if they'd have drafted Neighbors, then maybe they would have shopped him. So we'll see how it all turns out. But again, for my money, I'm not paying $35 million to a wide receiver. I'm not paying 30, and I'm barely paying 25.
Yeah. And again, it's a tough spot to be in. But if that's your best player, you have to do it, and then try to figure out the rest of it. Whereas, like you said, the Chiefs approached that. They came close to a number that they thought they were settled on. And they're like, we're not going over this much. They wanted more, and it's like, okay, well, who else is going to give it to you? They came up with, we thought was a market. It was Miami. The Jets might have been in there, maybe not, but the Chiefs got what they could and they moved on.
Yep.
And again, if you've got that guy at quarterback, I think it's a lot easier to make that move. If you don't, you got to put stars around the young guys to kind of, help them develop. So,
yeah.
So looking at that, speaking of having a star at quarterback, we're going to talk about the road to, immortal. But before we get into that, let's get into the sponsor.
All right, let's talk about the immortal man, Mr. Eric Hense, my good friend. He is your trusted real estate advisor. He was my trusted real estate advisors, and you've all heard me talk about this for months and months and months. The story and the hard knocks we had to deal with to get into the house, we finally did, and it's because Eric and his team were just fabulous. And at the end of the day, that's what you want. You want someone who's going to have your back, who's going to fight for you, who's going to go up against the opposing realtors and make sure you get what you want and get what you need when you're buying and or selling a house. And, there are a lot of really great real estate agents out there, but all I can do is attest to what my experience with Eric is. He answered every phone call. He responded to every text. He answered every question. He was always at my side, and I really, really appreciated that. So if you're looking for someone who's going to give you the Gold Glove standard, and he's going to give you a knockout punch and get you exactly what you want, give Eric Hense a call at 816-729-3785 or email him at esaleskc@gmail.com.
Proud sponsor of Chief Who? The quarterback has muted himself again.
Speaking of star quarterbacks, and we have we got the show topic of the day.
He's calling signals. It's silent.
It's a silent count.
You better give us some hand signals or something.
Oh man! But speaking of that, let me if it was more like the crickets that y'all was hearing from me on my end.
Yeah, yes, sir.
But again, what y'all think? What it's going to take for the Chiefs to get there? To get there to be that team that that we talked about the topic of the show today, man?
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about Mahomes being the GOAT, not being the GOAT, and the Tom Brady comments. And, I don't think people really understand the task that's ahead of these two in particular. They have a chance to go down in NFL history forever. Like forever. Like Bart Starr, like Lombardi, like any great player who's had an impact on the football, on the NFL. Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Andy Reid have the chance to three-peat. They need to win 3 Super Bowls in a row. They've won the hardest one, which was the second. And I think, Robert Griffith put a post up and said, if Patrick Mahomes wins his 3rd Super Bowl in a row, he is the new GOAT for the dominance that he's had in the 6 years that he's been a starter. He's entering his 7th year as a starter, and he's been to 4 Super Bowls, and he's won 3 of them. Now, Lou and I are a little bit older than Hense and Coach, and
just a little.
we spent 5 decades of our life, banging our heads against the wall and cussing and yelling and screaming and all the disappointments. And, after that loss to the Patriots in the AFC title game, Patrick Mahomes said enough's enough. And he went on to win 3 of the next 4 Super Bowls. So, or 3 of the next 5. So at the end of the day, this is all you want. But we're nonchalant about it. I don't think people really understand through the history of the NFL what this really represents. You really won't
for another 20 years or something.
Well, I don't think it'll be that long.
That's just it. Because
we're talking about it
now. We're talking about it now because we're here. Okay. Right. And it's like you forget about what it took to get here, but we're here now. Right. So we can talk about this. And again, maybe, 10, 20 years down the road, it'll be like, oh my God, do you remember when the Chiefs won 3 in a row?
I'll be in my 80s and I probably won't remember.
No one's ever done it. And no one's done it since, or no one's come close. It's going to be interesting because everything we talked about leading up to this point on this show in terms of the money is going to be, okay, how are these teams going to do it? How are they going to be able to pay their stars and be deep enough to make these kinds of runs? And if you look in the chat, it seems like the consensus is that they're overpaying for these guys. And I get it. Yeah. I mean, hell, if you could go get a bunch of guys and pay them $10 million each or whatever, sure, let's do that. But you can't always do that.
No.
So again, I mean, you thought, the Steelers, you think like one of the greatest teams ever, greatest defense ever, for an extended period of time, the steel curtain, the whole thing. Well, they never did it. They won back to back. They did it twice. So that's a pretty impressive thing. Well, geez, certainly the Niners did it. Walsh had them wrong. Nope. The Packers, I guess if you include
the first 2,
if you include the NFC the NFL championships before that, then it gets
which we're not.
Skewed. But in terms of just looking at Super Bowls, yeah, all these great teams and nobody's been able to do it. So here we are. And hence you asked the question, what is it going to take? I mean, to me, the biggest thing is health. Mm-hmm. As long as this group is healthy, they're always going to have a chance. Yeah. As long as Patrick is ready to roll and they just even have a few weapons.
Yeah, and it clearly doesn't seem to matter to him if there's any weapons on the field or not.
Right. He's gonna make it work one way or another. And especially if the defense comes back and plays close to, and I think we talked about this before, maybe it won't look the same, but if they are equally as effective and the Chiefs only have to score 24 points a game, it's hard to make a case for somebody shutting them down to under 24 points. So
I can't see it.
It's not inevitable. It is it seems like an insurmountable task, but again, if they have health and the biggest one is 15 at quarterback. It's just hard to say that somebody is going to come up and do it. Now, again, it is nearly impossible. It is so damn difficult. And Brady talked about this, and he got a little pushback because maybe he's disrespecting the Chiefs. No, I mean, he knows how hard it is.
He lived it.
To have everybody on the same page and go to work every single day and be of a same mindset. And it took 12, 15 weeks into the year last year to get this team all properly.
Every bit of 15.
How are we going to play offense?
Right.
How's the defense going to be involved? Which, how are the rotations? Which receiver is going to step up? And they finally did. And Rasheed came up, and then Travis became playoff Travis. So it's hard to bet against that.
Right.
But the odds would say it's definitely way against that.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, let me get to a few comments. First, let's see. From Ruben, I think Hill was beginning to be a me guy. Well, he's always been a me guy, and that's just the way he is. Rob Miller is out there. Thanks, Rob. If Moore and Tony play, this team will be unstoppable. He likes the combination of Brown, Riceworthy, Wiley, Pop, Moore. And speaking of Pop, did you see he's lost some weight? He's going lean and mean this year.
It seems to be a trend. Huh?
Yeah, it does seem to be a trend.
Tua, I didn't recognize him.
Yeah.
I still say whatever the picture they showed, that wasn't even him.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, that's 10. That looks more like Tyreek Hill than it does Pacheco. But yeah, he's definitely thinned out. A couple more comments. Ruben DeCruz, the Bills are trying to follow the Chiefs. Yeah, that's always going to be the case. And I think Merrily with a great, putting it all in perspective, we've come so far from our 2-14 season, the worst season in Chiefs history, all the off the field stuff, everything that went on that year, the absolute collapse of this franchise. And then they hired Andy Reid, and he just restored the ship and started his first year in Kansas City 9-0. And that kind of just set the tone. And it took Andy a while. And now, I mean, this football team is absolutely humming. And again, I mean, you talked about Tom Brady, and he had that perfect season, but they lost in the Super Bowl to Steve Spagnuolo's defense, and against the Giants, they would have gone down as history as, I will say this, the greatest football team in NFL history. To go through that kind of consistency, the way that offense was built,
they were unstoppable.
They were unstoppable all year long, and it just was a great catch by an unknown wide receiver, and Spags just unleashing the terror on Tom Brady and forcing him just to be uncomfortable was enough to get it done. And no team had done that before. They can't even come close. I mean, they were putting 40, 50 points up. They were blanking good NFL teams. Yeah, they played in a crappy division in the AFC East at the time. But, had they won that football game, I would say that's the greatest team. If the Chiefs win the Super Bowl this year and they do it by losing one or two games, this will be one of the greatest teams of all time, meaning the 2024 version, because I think we all agree, if we look at this team on paper, which is what we do in the OTA session, they're better at receiver, they're better in the backfield, they're better on the defensive line, they're better in the secondary. The linebackers are as solid as they've ever been in Kansas City in a really, really long time. They've got great special teams players. They've got the coaching staff. This is a better team than the one that won Super Bowl 58, in my opinion, just based on the additions.
It should be, yeah. I mean,
should be.
Experience, the younger guys. I mean, you've got a class right now that doesn't know anything besides winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they don't know.
They come into the league and they win, and then they win again. Okay, so their expectation is this is it. This is what we do.
So you saying this is Brett Veach's best draft class?
So I'm saying going back the Joshua Williams class.
Yeah, the last three drafts have been perfect.
Joshua and George, and those guys. Yeah. I mean, Pacheco. I mean, those again. Yeah, so right down the line, they've all contributed. I mean, really well.
Would you say that's Brett Veach's best draft class so far?
Yes, only because the last, they're a year older than the last two. I mean, these three drafts look like they have the ability. This is going to be like the nucleus of the team for the next at least 4 or 5 years, right? Because of the contracts and so forth, and them trying to stay cheap in terms of paying some of the ancillary parts around Patrick. So that class that he had, I mean, almost every single player is a hit and a starter and a contributor one way or the other. And the guys that didn't contribute were injured and are coming along now. So it's they've done that scouting staff. You got to give them kudos that they understand the type of players that they're looking for, that they're getting the guys that they need, and the coaches are coaching them up.
Yep.
And we've sung their praises all along, but Dave Merritt, Joe Cullen, Spags, I mean, you cannot say enough. And I'm sure there's other defensive coaches as well, Daly and some of the others that don't get enough credit, but they, in terms of draft and develop, you always hear that as a theory. We've seen it like in play for the last 2, 3 years, 4 years, and these guys keep getting better.
Yeah. And sometimes you forget about that draft class that came out that George Kalafis was there too. Sometimes some people forget, like, hey, we got George Kalafis and we got
McDuffie
in the same room. Them two guys is going to be bona fide cornerstones of this defense for years to come. And a lot of people, he's not on the show right now because he's not on the show right now because he gave Joshua Williams hell. Yeah. But now, the guy he probably turn around this year. He gonna have to show. Now we're gonna have to see to be that number 2.
He's projected to be one of the breakout stars this year.
Yeah. Then I threw something out there in the group me. I can't remember if it was PFF or PFN had him listed as one of the defensive breakouts of the year. And I truly believe this kid's going to be a great player. Again, it's for selfish reasons, but what I see on the field and just his length and ability to just kind of drape guys with that length and speed. A lot of good things are going to happen for Joshua. Hopefully he gets extended after this year.
The Chiefs defensive deep back coach have I keep on forgetting his name. He's slipping right.
Dave Merritt.
Dave Merritt. He has a lot of hope about Hayden too. That came from Tennessee. 6'3", 6'2", maybe around that size. Big guy, physical.
They keep coming, and that's just going to make everybody better.
Makes everybody better.
That's going to make more competition. The safety, like. I seen him. That's why I went to this Saturday. I seen him in person at Chipotle. The Hall of Famer jacket.
Did you get a jersey?
Nah, I told him. I said
he's gonna send you one though, right?
I mean, no.
Did you give him his gold jacket? Did you give him his gold jacket?
No,
forget it. Hey, Jaden, you don't even have to play. Here you go. Here's the jacket right now.
I told him. I said they give me hell on the show. Talk about I'll give you a golden jacket. But the kid is tall. Like some of these athletes you don't see in person until I seen him come in the door. I said, my son was not my son. I seen him come in the door. I was like, dang, this guy look like he plays football. Now when he took his hood off and he saw order, I said, oh, it is him. I said, this guy's huge as heck. So I stayed at 5'8", So I'm probably very tall, tiny to that guy, but man, I said, I see why the calves on the guy. I said, I see why the Chiefs, got high hopes for this guy. I said, shoot, that's baby Earl Chancellor, coming across the.
Do that every time.
Yeah,
it's like Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor's into one
together.
guy.
They both on one guy.
They're one human being.
They one guy. He gonna have the vision of Earl, and he gonna have the hit stick of Chancellor. That's why I say Earl Chancellor.
Don't forget about Chief this past week's Chief Nick Jones.
That we forget he's done. We don't know anything about him.
Being healthy. I mean, I think he's going to make a contribution as well. Najee Johnson, again, we keep talking about him because he was another guy. Him and Remigio were having great camps, and it looked like wow. I mean, these later round picks and UDFA, here we go. And it didn't turn out so well for them, health wise, but so this, Dre keeps saying, I want to see camp. I would love to see camp because the competition is just going to be nuts.
It's going to be fair.
In every position group except quarterback.
Yeah.
We got to get you down here for the training camp. At least,
we got to figure it out.
Get me a room at St. Joe's, and
there you go.
I'll sleep in one of those.
I think we're going to have one.
Cinder block.
It's all good. We'll give you a sleeping bag.
A couple of cinder blocks and a mattress.
We got to get the game together for training.
We'll figure it out. All right. A reminder on Chiefs Blitz, and we got a video of Nico Remigio coming up about an hour after the show, but want to get a couple other comments.
So is this like a runway thing? Is Nico going to be modeling something?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Is he going to get like out in the wild, just kind of prancing around?
Yeah, that's why we have the anonymous Mango here working with us.
He's got that British satellite focused in on these guys, drones.
Yeah,
we are on it, man.
Yep. Hey, a couple comments from Harry Mills. Hard to tell what will. Speaking of the Brett Veach draft picks, obviously FAU was hurt last year, but on paper they're better all around than last year. I think we all agree. And the infamous line, "It's a game of inches, and it takes a lot of luck to win it all." And you're absolutely right. But sometimes you got to make your luck. And I agree that if you put yourself in a position with the right players, with the right experience, who know what to do in every situation. The Chiefs have been down by double digits in big playoff games and Super Bowls. They've been lost for dead in the regular season and come back and just turned it around when they had to. They've experienced it all.
Never any panic. Once
they have chemistry, as Vincent said.
Once they did it once, it's like, okay, we know how to do this. Obviously, the Houston playoff game probably is just volumes and is like ingrained in most of those guys that were there in their brain. So we're not going to ever let that happen again. But if it does, we know what to do to get it done and get back in the game. So yes, absolutely.
But when I knew this team was going to be great is when they himself, Mr. 15. Patrick Mahomes, I was sitting there watching Baltimore and Kansas City, and Patrick Mahomes looked like he was nowhere to go. It looked like he was going to get sacked. Looked like he was done. The whole defense was chasing him down, and he launched it down the field to Tyreek Hill. I said, "Oh my God, we gonna be in this forever to come. It's gonna be always that guy to beat. It's always gonna be how can we stop this guy." It doesn't matter. When the guy's out there, when he out there playing, it looks like he's in slow motion and everything is just figured out. He got your best move, your best call out there. He already in your headset before the game. Just like a quarterback that gave me problems that I till this day, if I see him in person, I'll probably be upset. But I'll try to give him some love though too. But Peyton Manning. And Peyton Manning was always come to the goddamn line. You hear that goddamn Omaha that he's out here just take your defense apart. When I see Patrick Mahomes, I think he's already there. Yeah. But when I see him get to that level, it's a wrap for everybody else. It's a wrap for everybody else. Hang your cleats up. Don't come on the field. Don't come on the field. Don't show up for the rest of the game because if he come to the line doing like Peyton Manning doing all that stuff like that, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
You mentioned that moment in time, in the Ravens game, and it just instantly made me think about when I'm sitting there watching Patrick Mahomes from afar. And to me, the one play that stood out when I knew or I felt like this kid is beyond special. May not have been his best throw or his biggest moment, but 3rd and 7, Tennessee Titans, Sammy Watkins gets clear. Patrick's just trying to get a first down, and he hauls that pass with the fans in the crowd yelling, Sammy. And to me, that moment, that success of that play, and everything that had to happen to make that play work, but Mahomes took the shot. And I thought to myself, this kid is always going to take the shot. And he's never going to be afraid to do it.
The dagger.
That's when I knew that
Steph Curry.
Yeah, he is Steph Curry.
Steph Curry is my favorite basketball player.
Yep.
In the preseason, there was I think maybe it was his rookie year, and I think it also was against Tennessee, and he hit D-Rob on a couple of plays that were like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then the one in Atlanta where he threw it about 80 yards in the air to Tyreek.
72 yards in the air.
The defensive backs had to be saying, like, no way, this ball's going to keep going. And Tyreek just kept running. And it was like, yeah, that ball is going to keep going. And it was like, holy crap.
Yeah. I mean, Hill was at like the 35-yard line when that ball was in the air.
Yeah.
And he tracked it down another 25 yards.
Play after play.
I remember watching preseason that year. I was like, we finally got a guy. I was like, I didn't care about nothing else. I was like, man, give me more of this guy. Give me more of this. And when they set him down, I can say we probably won that Super Bowl that year with that team too. If they set Alex Smith in the playoffs and put Patrick Mahomes in, I think we probably won that game because nobody knew what he was. Nobody knew what he could bring, and nobody knew what he could bring to the table. But
right,
Jesus Christ. But speaking of that, the road to, that's why. Them type of moments, and Kelsey too. And when I seen Kelsey was against the Cincinnati Bengals in the playoffs, right? Not in the playoffs, but the preseason when Kelsey when he took that the ball to the house, ran it all the way down to the ran for the touchdown. I was like, man, this is no racism stuff here, but I was like, it's a big white guy moving like that. I never seen a guy move like that. I said, shoot, is that a tight end or a wide receiver?
He's got some shake in his game for sure.
Yeah, there's no question about that.
Well, last thing on the
Kobe when they was together, right?
Last thing under the immortality thing, and this always comes up, in terms of Patrick and the GOAT and all this other stuff and Brady. When Bradshaw, I think, was the first one to do it, to get to 4 Super Bowls, then Montana. And then Brady ends up with 7.
Mm-hmm.
But if Patrick is able to do the three-peat, 3 in a row, 4 overall, and still under 30 years old, it would be awfully difficult to say that guy was any better. Now, he won more, but in terms of just this guy willing this team in other situations, in most situations, in all these games, it seems like, I don't know that it's hard to say anybody else has done it better.
Yeah,
seriously. I mean, it just, now again, Brady, the longevity. I mean, you can look at, LeBron versus Michael, and, LeBron played longer and he's got all these statistics and and he's the greatest ever. But Michael's
the best ever.
Just watching him play the way he played, there just was an aesthetic about it that just made you love the game even more somehow, because no one should be able to do those things. And I think that's kind of where you look at Patrick. Not maybe this guy's got more championships, but 3 in a row, 4 total under 30. And he's the reason they win all these games.
Yeah.
It's hard. I mean, even non-Chiefs fans has got to say, wait a second. This is different. You wanted us to wait. You wanted everybody, because maybe we were saying it a few years ago, but you wanted us to wait. You told us you had to see more.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is it. Okay. You're seeing it now. And if this happens, you gotta just say, okay, that's it. We've seen it. And he's got about 5 or 6 years to go. Maybe longer.
Like I was there in Arizona, man, at the Super Bowl. And I seen, him, when I seen him get hurt, he got hurt. They was on the sideline. He was in pain. I walked literally out of the stadium, went right into the media room, and I sat down. I was like, I'm not going back in there. And I didn't know you don't supposed to cheer in the media room. This is my first time ever covering media. I didn't know you're supposed to cheer. I didn't know you're supposed to be quiet, or they would throw you out. They would
Hence got the side eye.
They really would throw you out.
We're journalists.
They sat there and looked at me like, hey, you're going to have to get out of here all that cheer. I said, hey, So as soon as I seen them take off down, I said, "Oh, y'all thought it was done." I jumped up, I started clapping. They literally told me, they said, "You gotta get out of here, sir." So,
yeah, no, I got scolded once too. Absolutely, that was on the Dante Hall kick return or punt return.
No cheering here, boys.
Yeah,
but again,
well,
that moment there, that moment there, like,
yeah,
it's gonna be hard to stop. On one leg, he beat the best, supposed to be the best team in the NFL at the moment.
If he was going to fail, it was last year. Minus 25-degree wind chill in Kansas City. Have to go to Buffalo. Have to go to Baltimore. And oh, by the way, you got to beat everybody's Super Bowl darling, Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers, against one of the greatest coaches of all time, in Mr. Shanahan, who hasn't won squat other than a few division titles. And all the odds and how crappy this offense looked in the Christmas Day massacre. And, Cole, everybody went home with Cole, in their coat pockets, freezing. And, and they turned around. So, I think it was Trey Wingo who said something along the lines of, if the NFL was not going to beat Patrick Mahomes last year, when do they possibly think they're going to beat him in the future?
Right.
And, again,
it's gonna have to take like major injury. Hate to say that. I'm knocking on wood really hard, but it's gonna take like some serious injuries for that to happen.
And the Chiefs have a great backup quarterback, and they've got a guy who's been there, done that. Has had success in the league. And
that was something like one of the more underrated additions that the Chiefs have had, I think, in my lifetime. We need to have a segment about Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think
seriously.
All right, let's maybe do that on Wednesday. Let's do that on Wednesday.
Carson Wentz is going to make the preseason very exciting. All right, I feel like he's gonna make it very exciting.
I'm hoping he makes it very boring.
Well, no. His responsibility is going to get the young receivers in tow.
Yeah, that's why
quiet, stay healthy and just hey.
No, his job is to make sure those young kids,
another one,
get all the reps as possible, get them ready for Patrick Mahomes.
Break glass.
Yeah.
Before let's get into the sponsor one more time.
Let's talk one more time about
this guy gets more FaceTime than we do.
Hey, he deserves it. He deserves it.
He's paying for all this. Come on,
he is footing the bill. So we appreciate Eric Haynes for everything he does with Chief Blitz, and he was our first. He was the first phone call I got. How can I help? And he said, "Listen, I want to sponsor. I want to help you guys out." And he gave up his time and his money to be able to do that. And we really appreciate it. And he's a good dude, and he's a good real estate agent. He's a good person. He's a diehard Chiefs fan. And he's your guy. He's your trusted real estate advisor. He's part of the SunWest real estate advising team in the Kansas City metropolitan area. Trust me, give him a call. If you're thinking about moving, if you're thinking about selling, just run it by him. Get his advice. Search for his opinions, and ultimately make the right decision for you and your family. Give Eric Haynes a call at 816-729-3785. Email esaleskc@gmail.com or Twitter at Eric Haynes Plus. For anybody who sells or buy a house with Eric, I will personally give away one of my signature Len Dawson items, and it won't be a crappy thing. It'll be a significant thing for everybody that has a successful transaction with Eric Haynes. So give him a call, 816-729-3785.
Proud sponsor, Chief Who?
Yes.
Let's get into some of this chat box.
All right, let's do it. We've had a lot of comments today. Let's see. Let's first talk about Kareem. What's up, buddy? Thanks for coming in today on your day off from Chiefs Zoo. We really appreciate it. Marilee, Hollywood has done it consistently in this league. Big difference from some of the other guys. They've been talking about wanting to bring Juju back. Ruben gets, $10 million a year. I'm all for Juju coming back if it makes sense. I'm not really
available. I mean,
he could be. It's very possible. Harry Mills, Super Bowl 54. The San Francisco front was dominant, but they fell short. Casey could burn them, and that's what exactly happened. We got Ruben DeCruz. He agrees with Marilee. We all agree with Marilee. She's so smart.
No.
This year's schedule will definitely test this team physically and mentally. Even heard from Vincent DiCarlo. Vinny, you're working on our mango sauce. Come on, Sweet Lou's mango sauce. Definitely want to do that. Bingus Bonger was on again. We really appreciate him as well. I just love the whole vibe he throws out there. I think it's great. Let's see what else we got on here. Rob Miller was out here. He loves the combination of a Kelsey, Brown, Riceworthy, Wiley, Pop, Moore, Tony, and Mahomes. We'll see about Tony. We'll see about Pop.
Wiley made that list.
Wiley made the list.
Well, he's in the Hall of Fame
too, as well. And so that's most of the crew that came in today. Just wanted to make sure that we got as many people out there as we could.
Kareem said something to Lou. What do you say? I put it on the screen.
Not a problem.
I think he was saying something about Drew being. Yeah, I agree with that, Kareem, in terms of play on the field. But I think I don't know if it was sneaky or just sort of like it hasn't been talked about that much. Where I think Drew, everybody knew him from the Chargers, from seeing him play, and that he could be effective. Now, whereas with Wentz, it's just he's like this enigma. He was like potentially league MVP to now journeyman, and you're like, what happened? So I get that from that perspective, but I do agree with you. Good call.
All right, Bingus Bonger has a question. How are you guys maximizing number of games you'll have the ability to watch at best price points this year? Oh boy, you're gonna have to just pick and choose.
Sunday ticket.
Sunday ticket's a pretty good value, especially if you bought in early.
Most of the games are national anyway, so
there's 7. They have 7 primetime exclusive games,
and then you've got that
includes the one on Netflix,
the late window games, and so forth. So
I think Jim Nantz said he's going to have the Chiefs 8 times this year. So again, for the most part, unless you live in one of those markets, but I have the Sunday ticket just because I like watching NFL games. So
we will be hey, like you said, it need to be one of the shows out there to get it done. But look, hey, I'm just happy for it. I'm waiting to see the Chiefs get this done. I know I get, everybody beats me up for talking about giving guys too many yellow jackets, and golden jackets. But again, I'm just saying, like, I can't wait to see these young guys. I know that the Trent McDuffie class and George Kalafa's class is great, but I think this class here probably
has star potential.
The star potential to match it. But the other classes before that, it was just great with Mahomes. I don't know if the rest of the guys are still on the team, but other than that, man, hey, we want to thank everybody for joining in. Thank you guys for sharing. Thank you guys for taking the time out your Monday. Set your alarm clock.
A lot of choices out there. Thanks for choosing us.
Continue to share, continue to comment and subscribe on YouTube. And also, we're going to have, when Mango, we figure out what's going on Mango,
We're like 17 minutes away from the Nico Remigio
coming out party. So we'll watch it here. Check it out at Chiefs Blitz. So.
Yes.
All right, guys, that's a wrap. Wednesday, we will talk about the Chiefs backup quarterback. We'll do a feature on him, kind of get our comments about that too. I think it's good timing. One last week of OTAs before the mandatory minicamp the week later. And after that, there is a 6-week break between the time the Chiefs will start reporting to St. Joe, Missouri.
And I will be there.
I will be up there as well.
And we're going to try to get Lou down there.
We'll do our best.
Never been to a camp. That'd be great.
Yeah.
So with that said, guys, we'll be back Wednesday with Chiefs Who, and I'm gonna make sure I get my prize. I got my prize on that little. It's a 1 and a 6 back there. No, I don't want that. I want that guitar. I want that guitar that he had in that room. So with that said,
my ovation. Guys, I'm not giving away my ovation. He and I have been friends a long time.
So with that said, guys, I hope you guys have a great Monday. Continue to remember, check out the video. It's coming out pretty soon. And we'll
16 minutes away.
16 minutes away. And we see you guys on Wednesday.
Peace out, guys.
Chief on.
Bye.